The good life, full of fun, seems to be the idea.
Hey guys, welcome to my kitchen. Another exciting day in my kitchen. Guys, today we're gonna make absolutely one of my favorite recipes around the holiday time. It's gonna be pumpkin pie. Now we're not gonna make just a pumpkin pie. What we're gonna make today is a pumpkin pie with a little Italian, you know what I mean? Like a forget about it, a little Italian kick. And I'm gonna share that with you. So I've got a great recipe. We're gonna have a lot of fun. My camera person's making me laugh today. She's been giving me a hard time. So let's get started, all right? I've got a lot of ingredients here. Don't be intimidated. It's really easy, it's really quick. I want to teach you just a couple of little tricks that take, you know, a pumpkin pie from average, where you take a bowl, you mix the ingredients, you whisk it together, and you throw it in a crust in the oven. I mean, that it'll certainly come out, you know, very good that way. But I want to teach you a way, a couple of tips, just those ways to make it just absolutely awesome. Something that when somebody puts it in their mouth, it's going to be creamy and custardy and light, and it's going to have that depth of flavor that they'll never get anywhere else. That's what I'm going to teach you, okay? So that being said, let's get started. What I've got here is a cup and a half of pureed pumpkin. Now, I did not do this. This is a pureed pumpkin, a really high quality one that I bought pre-made. However, you can do that. You can just get a pumpkin, cook it, you cut it in half, scrape out the inside, cook it. You're going to bake it about 350 degrees, 375 degrees for about an hour till it's soft. Scrape it out there, put it through a food processor or a food pureer, you know, food mill as they call it. That'd be great. So I got a cup and a half of pureed pumpkin, which smells, oh, that smells good. You know, squash, right? Now, what I've got here, not to confuse you, is I've got 5 eggs. So I've got 4 egg yolks, 1 whole egg. Okay? Now what I did with the whole egg is I took just a little bit of the egg white out, because one of the tips I want to teach you is anytime you're going to put a wet filling inside of a pie crust, you want to take a brush and you want to take the egg white and you want to seal the bottom of the pie crust. You don't want to poke holes in it. You'd only do that if you're going to cook the pie crust dry, you know, where you weight it down because you want air to come through and you don't want it to bubble over. But in this case, you want to seal it because you don't want the liquid to go through the crust, make it soggy, and it'll stick to the bottom. So that's a little trick to teach you, okay? The other thing is you always want to freeze or get that pie crust really cold before you put it in. That way it'll lag behind on the cooking a little bit, and it'll absolutely seal it. So it'll seal it right up, allow the custard to set so it won't leak in. So just a couple little tips like that, okay? So that's going to be our egg yolk. And again, remember, a pumpkin pie is a custard. You know, a lot of people forget that. It's going to give you a custard feel. It's going to give you a custard flavor. Almost like a creme brulee in a way, made out of pumpkin. So it should have that flavor, all right? Now what I've got here is I've got 1 cup of heavy cream, heavy whipping cream. A lot of times people use condensed milk or condensed sweet milk or what have you. And that's fine. I don't like that one because condensed milk is really a concentrated milk. Why not use something that's just beautifully flavored, light, delicate, which would be a heavy cream, and that's really what's going to give you the flavor, okay? All right, guys, next ingredient, secret ingredient. You can see it tucked behind my heavy cream. You ready? Mascarpone cheese, right from Italy. That gives it that Italian flavor. It's going to give it a silkiness, a depth of flavor. You know, you don't want to put too much in there. So what I've got here is I've got 3 tablespoons of mascarpone cheese. Now, if you put too much, you almost get like a cream cheese or a cheesecake feel, and that's not what you're going for here. What you're going for is depth and silkiness and a little bit more of that custard feel. It's going to add a little bit more silkiness to the custard. It's absolutely delicious. So mascarpone cheese, no one else adds it. That's Cooking Italian with Joe's secret little ingredient there. Okay, now I've got a 1/2 cup of regular sugar and a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Now some people put all brown sugar, some people put all white sugar. You know, both are great. We're going for a certain flavor here. I find that if I put all brown sugar, it takes over. The molasses starts to take over on the flavor of the custard, which I don't like. So I like to split the two. It gives you absolutely delicious flavor, okay? So again, in any of these pie recipes, you know, a lot of times you might want to add a little bit more. Maybe you like a little bit more depth of flavor, a little bit more cinnamon, a little bit more garlic, or you wouldn't add garlic to a pie, but I'll just throw it out there, see if you guys are paying attention. But, you know, if there's something else specifically that you like, just add it, tweak it. You know, if this inspires you to make a pumpkin pie, then we're both winners. All right, now what I've got here is 1 teaspoon of vanilla, all right, which, you know me, I got to smell it. Oh, I love vanilla. You think it tastes great, just like that, and you taste it, it's like, ugh, it's terrible, right? And I've got 1 whole teaspoon of cinnamon, Ooh, cinnamon. Same thing, right? Unless you add sugar, it doesn't taste so good. Half of a teaspoon of ginger, okay? Half of a teaspoon of salt. Sometimes people think that's a little odd, but salt's gonna bring out the flavor. You're not gonna make it salty. The salt background will actually enhance the other flavors, okay? You won't even taste the salt. Now I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Oh, I love nutmeg. Absolutely one of my favorite little flavors, spices to add. And then here I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. Now I don't add clove, which some people do, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't like to add clove and allspice because it gives it too much. So I like what I call a breath of it. It gives it that kind of mysterious background flavor, but it doesn't, I don't like anything overpowering. Remember, nutmeg, clove, allspice, a little bit of that goes a very, very long way. So you don't want to put too much in it. It'll overcome the taste of the pie, and then you lose the enhancement of all those other flavors, okay? So that's our ingredients, which again, it can sound intimidating. It sounds like a lot, but it's not. So let me grab my pan over here. Now what I'm going to teach you right now is something I've kind of gone over with like a tiramisu or other types of desserts, and that is what we want to do is we want to create a custard. So you're going to cream the egg. By that, what you're going to do is you're going to take the egg that I have here along with the sugar, and you're gonna cream it. So first cream the egg and then add the sugar. It's gonna get yellow and pale. It's gonna look beautiful, thick and creamy. It's gonna look great, okay? All right, so I've got my pan, all right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put my egg in there. Those are just the yolks now, remember. And I've got my little mini spatula. Isn't that cute? So that just allows you to, it's got a lot of fat in it. An egg yolk does, I'm sorry. Egg yolk has a lot of fat in it. So when you basically emulsify it, you're gonna mush it and whip it. Now I'm gonna put the whole egg in there with the egg white, with a little less of the egg white, if you remember, right? So I'm gonna put that in there as well. One of the advantages, if you put too much egg white in there, it almost creates a little bit of a bitter flavor, and sometimes it can solidify the cake and cause it to crack. So you don't want to put too much of the egg white in there, all right? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring this over to the blender. Now I'm going to blend this until it starts to pale. Then I'm going to add the sugar, then I'm going to add the vanilla, and then I'm going to start to add the other ingredients, okay? And then what I'm going to do is slow it way down, take it off, hand mix the other ingredients. Why? Because I don't want to incorporate a ton of air in there. If I do, it'll collapse on you. It's not what you're looking for. Again, you're looking for a custard. So then I'll hand mix the rest of the ingredients, pour it inside my pie shell. We're going to preheat the oven to 400 degrees to 425. We'll put the pie in there for about 10 minutes maybe, and then we're going to drop it to about 325, 350, and we're going to cook it for about 40 more minutes. It's going to be perfect. And I got one little extra surprise for you. Are you having fun yet? I'm having fun, man. I'll tell you, I love pumpkin pie. So I'm going to mix this up, and I'm going to cream the egg. Now, this is going to get loud, so I'll crank it here for a couple of minutes, and when it gets right to that consistency, I'll tune you guys back in. I'll show you exactly what we're looking for, all right? Hold on 1 minute. All right, guys, so it took about like 3 minutes, and you're gonna see how that's nice and pale. All right, that's it. So you just want that nice pale feel. Now, I'm gonna continue to cream the eggs, but I wanna add the sugar. So hold on 1 second. Let me grab my ingredients, Magic of TV. All right, I'm back. So I've got my sugar, right? 1/2 cup of white sugar, and then I've got 1/2 cup of brown sugar. And there you go. Brown sugar is like white sugar, it's got molasses in there, okay? So then I'm gonna pop this on, again, start it off slow, and now what it's going to do is it's going to allow all the crystals to dissolve. It's going to cream in there. It's going to make this absolutely delicious, essentially like a cold custard is what it's going to do, all right? So I'm going to crank this nice and slow, get it started, and then once I get this where I want, then I'll start to add all the other flavoring because I want it to be really well incorporated. I'll pull it off and then manually mix everything. My mother's going to be jealous. She's coming over later for a taste of my pumpkin pie. It's going to be great. She makes a great pumpkin pie. I'll make a better one. Talk to you guys in a minute. Okay guys, it's been literally just a couple of minutes. See how that just creamed up? Look at that, isn't that beautiful? See, a lot of times when you see recipes, they'll tell you to put, everything in a bowl and mix it. And that's true, like I said, it'll come out good. But when you do that, what it does is it just starts to change the protein. It starts to change the fats. It starts to create a different consistency of everything. It just gives you a different flavor, a different feel of the custard that you'd never be able to get. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this right back over here. All right, and lastly, I just want to add some of our flavors, but I want to add that mascarpone. That's the biggest challenge you have, is to mix that mascarpone cheese in the mixture, inside that custard, right? So I'm gonna mix that. I'm gonna do that right now, so hold on a second. Magic TV. All right, guys, so here's my mascarpone cheese, okay? Oh, look at that, fell right in, all right? And then I'm just gonna go ahead and add everything else. I got the cinnamon, I've got my salt, right? Got my allspice, I've got my nutmeg. Oh, I tell you guys, I love nutmeg. There is nothing better. Always reminds me of my Aunt Emily's rice pudding. If you guys haven't checked that recipe out. Oh, if you guys like rice pudding, that is the best rice pudding. That's another recipe I show you how to cream those eggs because it gives you that custard feel right in the rice pudding. All right, and then this is my vanilla. Okay, vanilla and cream and sugar. Oh, let me do a quick cleanup. Hold on. All right, here we are. We're back to go. So now I'm going to drop this. And again, we're not looking so much to whip it like we were before. What we're looking for now is just a full incorporation, all right? So we're just gonna go a lower speed. I'm gonna have the whipping device on there. You can paddle it, but why dirty something if you don't have to? And you're just gonna let it mix now, 2-3 minutes, that's it. Again, you're not trying to incorporate air, you're just trying to get a good full mix. When I'm done with that, I'm gonna pull it off. We're gonna hand mix the other stuff, I'll show you. Put it in the pie shell. Woo! It's gonna be awesome. In an hour, we're gonna have pumpkin pie. It's gonna be absolutely delicious. All right, guys, so I've got all my flavoring. Oh my God, that is good. I don't even have pumpkin in there yet, right? So I've got all my flavoring in there. So I'm just gonna get that whisk, my whip, nice and clean, right? Let me see. Oh, that's good. All right, guys, we're back. I have to say, I tasted that whisk. Good stuff. All right, so now real easy. Again, we don't want to whip this, right? So I'm gonna do the rest by hand. I've got a nice spatula. I'm gonna put my cup of cream. I'll tell you, when my mother used to make this, when I was a kid, I can remember having that bowl that she would hand mix, and you know, I'd start taking a spoon and I could eat it raw. It was so good. So now this case here, you just want to put it nice and slow because you don't want to splatter. So you're just going to mix that pumpkin, okay? And I'll try to give you a good shot here. I know we only got one camera here when we're doing this. We're low budget. Cooking at Town with Joe's low budget, but I'll tell you what. Who else has got some good Frank Sinatra playing in the background when you're making a pumpkin pie? There you go. Hey! I think this is a Frank Sinatra version of It's Amore. I might be wrong though. So see that? That's nice and beautiful that is. So you're just going to let it set, mix it by hand. You want to just make sure you got all the lumps of pumpkin. No, that's Dino. There you go. And just mix it nice and slow. When I was a kid, my dad, every Sunday morning, before he went down to the restaurant, and that's not even accurate, he'd go down to the restaurant to put the prime rib in and turkeys in and such to get ready for the day. They had a big Sunday buffet. And he'd come home and have breakfast with us really early in the morning. And my mother usually make waffles or pancakes or something awesome. And we had the old record player, and it had the big albums in there. It was a Magnum box. I remember it was a big wooden case, and you could put 4 or 5 albums in there. My dad would put Frank Sinatra, 4 Freshmen, Perry Como, Dean Martin. Oh my God. So anytime I hear these old songs, which is I love to listen to, always brings me back to Sunday morning and my parents' living room. Life was a lot simpler then, I got to tell you. It's one of the great things about food, you know, you get all those senses of smell and texture and taste, and it just anchors those memories that you had with your family, you know. So it's one of the reasons I love to share all this with you guys. All right, so we got a beautiful mixture. See how nice and creamy that is? Look at that. Is that just absolutely delicious? Now what I have to do here, just to be safe, because I don't want there to be any problems with quality control. Oh my God, I could totally eat that exactly the way it is. Woo, that's good. Holy mackerel. Okay, so now what I did, I won't even be able to think straight after I put that in my mouth. Now what I did is I took that pie crust, if you remember, and I said I put it in the freezer. So let me go grab that Magic TV. Hey guys, all right, so now, here, this is right onto the freezer, and we just did a video, I don't know, like 4 weeks ago on pie crust. So to make, if you guys want a great recipe on how to make pie crust, certainly go to Cooking with Talent Joe, World's Greatest Pie Crust, I think I titled it. And I'm a very modest guy when I come to my recipes, so, but in any case, I got a beautiful pie shell here, just gorgeous. And you're gonna see the marbleization of the butter. And that's really what gives you that flake. So, got some Nat King Cole playing in the background. So now that it's almost frozen, and that's gonna lag behind on the baking process. A lot of times you'll see people, they'll put like aluminum foil and such around it. I'm not saying that's a bad idea, but if you cool it or freeze it, and I don't mean solid frozen, but get it nice and cold before you put it in, you won't have to do that because this will have to essentially thaw. Now I've got my egg white, okay, and I'm gonna put that right in the bottom, okay? Just brush it in the bottom, that's it, okay? Okay guys, easiest part, here you go, ready? I'll try to do it so I don't block. I get yelled at by my camera person sometimes, she says I block the view, so now here comes the easy part. You're gonna pour it right in there. Oh. Now, I just want to get all the scrapings. You don't want to overfill it. There you go. Got Nat King Cole playing. Oh my gosh. I might leave a little in there just to do another quality control test. And that's it. All right, now I've got the oven preheated. I've got the oven preheated at 425. I'm going to do 10 minutes. Now, why do you do that? It creates the custard, that extra heat, that flash heat. It gets the custard to set. So everything sets nice and solid, it gels it. And then after that, now you want to cook all the ingredients and you're going to lower the temperature. You'll find the great chefs always start at a high heat and drop it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start off nice and hot. We're going to drop it at about 325 to 350. We're going to do that for about 40 more minutes. So you figure 50 minutes to 60 minutes, it's done. You're going to do a nice clean knife test to the outside and middle. Once it comes out nice and clean, it's going to be absolutely delicious. I can't wait to bite into this puppy. And my mom and dad are coming over, like I said, so I'll have the ultimate tester, my mom. Talk to you guys in a minute. Okay guys, just another tip. You always want to put your pie in the middle of the oven. So literally in the middle shelf, and try to get it in the center of the shelf. And then every like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, regardless of where you are in the cooking process, just take a peek to see if one area is cooking a little faster than the other. Some ovens will have a hot spot, or someday they'll just cook a little hotter in one spot. On this, you can tell really easily. Just look at the crust. If you see one area of the crust cooked a little faster, just do a quick rotation. That's all you got to do. All right? So we're going to pop this in. You don't want to spill it at this point, all right? Because that would really be a bummer. And then, there you go, right in the middle. Perfect. We're going to close it. What do we use to save the pie? We're going to use our timer. So like I said, we're going to keep it at 425 for about 10 minutes. So I'm going to set it for 10. Then I'm going to lower the temperature, turn it down to 325, 350, leave it in there for the other 40 minutes. It should be perfect. All right, guys? I'll tune in when we pull it out. Talk to you guys in a bit. Hey, guys, welcome back. I got to tell you, this kitchen right now is like walking into my mom's kitchen when she was cooking pumpkin pie. Good stuff. All right, so this is done. It's been about 50 minutes, 55 minutes. So I just checked it. I'm going to open up the oven, the magical cabinet of goodness right now, okay? I'm going to pull this out. Oh, look at that. Oh, that is just... Oh. Now that's puffy, right? But see how it's not jiggling? Right? It doesn't have a loose jiggle to it when I lift it up. So what you want to do is just check to see how it's coming out clean. You know, it's not wet where you're pulling out like a pudding if you were to stick it in pudding. You see what I mean? It's nice and clean. Absolutely perfect. So now this is going to cool. Oh my God, that is good. Crust is absolutely perfect. Oh my gosh, look at that. Now this is going to drop because with all that heat it's expanded. So you're going to see this will drop and actually come together. So this is going to need to cool for about 30 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it cool. And then what I did, and I'm going to put them on there right now, I went ahead and did little cutouts of leaves and I cooked them just a few minutes ahead. So I'm going to pop those on here just as a nice little cute decoration, right? And then what I'll do is I'll let it cool and then I'm going to hit it. I'll probably dust it with a little bit of powdered sugar. And what I did, just to give you a little heads up, and I brought this out here, we're going to do it in a second. Hold on. Hold on. Made a little whipped cream. Okay? And what I did is I put 2 tablespoons of mascarpone cheese in it. And to the sounds of Johnny Mathis, that's damn good whipped cream right there. Alright? So I'm going to let this cool. I'll finish decorating it. Let it cool for 30 minutes. My favorite part of any video that I share with you guys is the taste test. Talk to you guys in a few minutes. Hey guys, I gotta tell you, you need smell-o-vision right now. The smell in here It's still warm, but we're running short on time, and I want to bite into this puppy, okay? So, you can see how it's settled down a little bit already? It's already kind of dropped. It'll drop a little bit more over the next, few hours, but. So I'm gonna come right in here. So I'm gonna give it a nice cut. All right, guys, we got it out. Came out perfect. It's definitely really hot still, though. But we're still gonna eat it. See how it's got a cracking right there? What you do is you fill that with whipped cream. Don't even know it's there. And then the finish with your whipped cream is you kind of do it and then you twist it. Gives you like a little fun little top. So the whipped cream I did, as I told you guys, with a little bit of mascarpone in there, and it's a nice little way to do it. So isn't that just absolutely beautiful? Oh, absolutely perfect. Delicious. I tell you, the smell, perfect. All right, guys, favorite part. We're doing pictures and all this other stuff. I just want to eat the stuff, you know what I'm saying? Oh, look at that. It's so light. It's got that custard texture to it. Again, it's still hot. And what I want to do is just get a little bit of that crust. That crust is so good. Oh my God. You could get that, you can get the cinnamon and the nutmeg and the ginger and the allspice and the cream. Oh, that is good. Oh my God. That is heaven. I'm gonna get that nice little cracker I put on top. Oh my God, that was great. Oh yeah. This is, any of those autumn times of the year, right? Oh yeah. That right there is pumpkin pie cooking Italian with Joe, Italian style. Good stuff. Guys, great recipe, a lot of fun. Look how beautiful that looks. Doesn't that look fantastic? Isn't that a great way to decorate a table for the holidays? Thanks so much for joining me. Thanks so much for the great comments. Keep them coming. And thanks so much for allowing me to share my heritage and my traditions with you and your family. Until next time, guys, have a great week. Bon appetit.
It's the good life.